Today we are looking at the Unit 4 Cumulative Assessment Review. For number 1, we need to write the following expressions using numbers. Now what I did was, we're going to notice kind of a reoccurring theme here where in A, B, and C it looks like we're going to be subtracting 36 from 122, or in B it says subtract 36 from 122, the same thing. And then C, though worded differently, still means the same thing, the difference of 122 and 36. So as I go through here back to A, we'll go through this whole problem. Take 122 minus 36, we put that in parentheses. Okay, and then we multiply it by 2. In purple, you'll see that I separated that problem there through B and C as well. And B, we move down, we do 122 minus 36. And now this time it wants us to divide the difference by 3. All right. And the final one, multiply the difference of 122 and 36. So that same 122 minus 36 comes into play. And this time we need to, by 6. We have to read back to the beginning. We need to multiply that difference by 6. So what we should see here in front of us is that this is the same in each of the 3 problems, and our focus is actually going to be what we do to that amount, because it's the same amount each time. Now we need to determine multiplying by 2, dividing by 3, and multiplying by 6. Now we actually do not need to answer this, so please don't put equals and tell me how much. That's it. We're just showing the expression. We're putting the words into a math problem. Now number 2 wants us to put them in order from least to greatest, and this is where we look back up at the blue. Okay? Of these 3, we have the same amount. It will be division will give us the smallest answer, so letter B will be the smallest. So since this is out, now we look at A and C. Well, we're multiplying by both, okay, so that means they're both going to get bigger. Now, it looks like we're multiplying by a 2 and a 6, so obviously the 2 isn't going to increase the value as much as the 6, so it looks like the order will be letter B first, then letter A, and then letter C. Did we have to evaluate the expressions in problem 1 to order? And no, we did not. Like I just said, I kind of got ahead there, and the answer, do we have to evaluate? No. Division will usually decrease in amount, however multiplying increases the amount, and we said that multiplying by 2 will increase it a little bit, and multiplying it by 6 will increase it that much more. For number 3, I went ahead and underlined some of the key components to this question here, and it reads, Sarah is the treasurer of the chess club. She collected $3 from each of the 40 members and an additional $20 from the principal. Half of the money was used to pay for t-shirts. Write an expression that models the amount of money that was used to pay for t-shirts. Use grouping symbols in your expression. All right, so we're going to start with the beginning part. It says $3 from each of the 40 members. So 3 times 40. We can lump that together with grouping symbols. And the principal gave us an additional 20. So we can do that by adding 20 if we want. We can get parenthesis happy and put parentheses around that amount. And the final step, which is easy to forget at times, only half of that money was used to pay. So the easiest way to do half is to divide it by 2. All right, so evaluate the expression to find the amount of money that was paid. So if we work our way slowly through this, we get 120 plus 20 equals 140. Divided by 2 gives us 70, which we need to go ahead and write down here on the line. So Sarah paid $70 for t-shirts for the chess club. All right, next question. Steve said, a book doesn't have volume because you cannot pack it with cubes and count the cubes that fill it. Is Steve correct? Explain your answer. No, he is not correct because of this part of the statement. It does have volume. Now, he did kind of point out something true. You can't pack a book with cubes, but that doesn't mean it doesn't have volume. No, he is incorrect. I went ahead and wrote my explanation here, and I said, No, he is incorrect. A book is 3D, which means it has volume. All right, the key is you must explain your answer. Whenever it says explain your answer, obviously you need to make sure you just don't say no. You need to say why you said no. And in this case, one possibility would be it's 3D, or you could say it has length, width, and height, therefore it has volume. Or you could even mention, since he's talking about cubes, you could rebuild the book with cubes, kind of like Legos, and you could recreate the book using cubes. So there's a few options. I only went ahead and wrote one of them. But there's a few options for that one. Now, number 5, I'll read the question, and then on my next slide here, I have the picture for us. The rectangular prism below is partially packed with centimeter cubes. Find the volume of the prism, then describe 3 different strategies you could use to find the volume. Now, here's a little side note. The height is 5 centimeters, which we could also count and see that as well. So it looks like it's 5 going across, it's 6 deep, and it's 5 high. I'll go ahead and write in that height again is 5 centimeters. Now I have some hints for our strategies. Throughout the year we talked about 3 different ways in which we could calculate volume, and that would be 2 formulas and then one which actually doesn't work for this, but it is an option that's out there. Strategy 1 is to go ahead and do length times width times height, and that's how you find volume. That would look like 5 times 5 times 6. The order of the numbers doesn't matter, and we get 150. For strategy 2, it's big B times H. Now, big B is the area of the base. So, in particular, that's the 6 times 5, which is 30, times the height, which is 5, which, again, gives us 150. And our third strategy that we could use here would be to count the blocks. Now, in this example, it really doesn't work out that well because all the blocks are not drawn in. So if we only count what's available, we are going to be way off of the 150 block answer. Now back to that answer. We come up and we write the volume as 150. That's only part of the answer. Whenever you have volume, you'll have a number. You must have a label. In this case, it's centimeters. We're getting closer, but we're still not there. Since it's 3D, since we multiplied centimeter times centimeter times centimeter, you need to make sure that you have that little 3. Your answer is not correct unless you have 150 centimeters with a 3, or you could say cubic centimeters. Number 6 and 7, we need to make estimates, we need to solve that estimate, and then we need to solve our actual problem. We need to then check our estimate to make sure that our answer makes sense, and we are trying to use traditional at least once for one of these problems. Now, number 6, you can see I went ahead and did my estimates. I like to follow some basic rounding rules. 636 goes ahead and becomes 600. 17 becomes 20. I like to keep it mental math. 6 times 2 is 12, which you can see here, and then I just count my zeros. All right. And then over for number 7 for my estimate, 45 became 50, 36 is 40. Multiply those together, that 5 times 4 is 20. Tack on my zeros, so I have 2,000. Now I'm ready to check out this multiplying traditionally. All right, our first number we start with is the 7. It is 7 times 6, which is 42. Our 1s goes down, our 10s goes up. 7 times 3 is 21. Add 4 more. We get a 5. 1s goes down, 2 up. Then we do 7 times 6, which is 42, plus 2 more is 44. Once you move down to that second number, the second row, we need to put a 0. Some people like an X. You can put both if you'd like. Now we are just looking at the 1. We are ignoring all the stuff that we just did in purple, and it's just 1 times 6 is 6, 1 times 3 is 3, and 1 times 6 is 6. It's kind of nice when that happens. Now be careful. We need to get our brains out of multiplying mode and just add. 2, 1, carry the 1, that is an 8. 4 plus 6 is 10. Write our answer on the line, compare it to our estimate. Looks like we did all right there. Let's move over to the second one. Start with the 1's place. 30. 1's down, 10's up. 6 times 4 is 24, plus 3 is 27. New line, X, 0, do both. Now we use the 3. 3 times 5 is 15. Carry the 1. 3 times 4 is 12. 1 more. 13. Again, now get out of multiplying mode, and now we just get to add 0. 12, carry the 1, that's a 6. And our answer is 1,620. Compare it to our estimate, and again, it looks good.